Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And picture the following situation. You have a lot of work to do, like a lot of tasks, and the tasks to come. You feel stressed, overwhelmed, restless, maybe anxious. And you have this pressure on your shoulders, like a heavy backpack, and time is running. And worse is, you can't even get started, and you haven't even started. Hello, procrastination. Now open your eyes again and shake off that memory, because we've all been there. I'm Dr. Jana Reuther. I've been in that situation several times as a student, at university, as a strategy consultant working 100 hours, as a venture capitalist in the Silicon Valley, or even writing my PhD, kind of being my own boss. Stress was always there. The conscious one and the unconscious one. And no matter if I was in academia or in the corporate world, there was no difference. And it felt kind of like I had to choose between feeling great and doing great. There was a trade-off. And at the same time, it almost felt like I was rather surviving, not really thriving. So I started studying. I started studying psychology, NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, cognitive and behavioral science. I read more than 200 books on self-development, on business, on health. Attended a gazillion courses and events, and I ended up becoming a hypnotherapist, a CBT therapist, a mental health coach. And today I want to share with you what I came across, why we often feel so stuck in the present, why we are overwhelmed, why we're so stressed. And I want to share with you maybe a potential new way how we can do and feel better. So let's take you back in time, like a century back in time. And remember that massive transformation, which you can always see here, where we shifted from horse carriages. So we shifted from horse carriages towards these mystical, self-driving, metal vehicles called cars. People didn't like it. People felt threatened. They thought they're going to lose their jobs. They didn't know what to expect. They were so used to to horses. They were so used to horses. So what did they do? Basically, they rejected the new innovation called the automobile. But it didn't take long to figure out that this problem of accepting that new innovation was actually not a functional one, but a psychological one. So there was this one person called Mr. Smith. Obviously, there was a lot of Smiths around, and he came up with an extraordinary idea. So what he did was, instead of focusing on what was new, he did the opposite. He actually focused on what was familiar, what was similar. So let me introduce you to his idea, what he came up with. Let me introduce you to Horsey Horseless. A car vehicle with a fake horse head. How can you not like that, right? And then time passed. What did we do? We called cars after horses, Ford Mustang. We even called the power of cars after horses, horsepower, in German PS, Pferdestärke. So what we actually did was we tricked our minds in order to adjust to the change, to familiarize ourselves. We did surface remedies, symptom treatment. But let's have a look how long that took, that acceptance of that change. Quite some time. Now let's take that analogy back to you feeling stressed with your work. What do? Well, first, you experience a lot of change, a lot of disruption on a constant basis. And then you twist and tweak, you pivot, you do some symptom treatments there, you implement some new coping mechanisms, right? Surface remedies. That's what I did. I ignored my stress. I went on a vacation. As soon as I was back, stress was still there. Or I changed jobs. And apparently stress is all around, couldn't get rid of it, right? But what if I told you that in order to feel at your best and do at your best, what if I told you if the key to unlock your best performance and your best well-being is not surface remedies, it's not the symptom treatment, but it's all about getting into your autopilot, where the problem actually comes from. Because stress is not your problem, that's a symptom. And if you go back into your autopilot, you can actually break out of all your limitations and your constraints. But what is the autopilot and how to do it? Well, according to neuroscience and psychology, the autopilot is if you perform a habitual task or routine and you do that with limited or minimal conscious effort or intention. Basically, like you brushing your teeth. You don't even pay attention, you just do it. But as soon as you change your hand, it feels different because you actually pay attention, right? So during my studies, I came across a couple of methodologies, approaches, how you can actually get into your autopilot, what you can do. And I want to share a couple of them with you today, in particular one. The first one is NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming. And that has all to do how your thoughts, your words, and your actions are connected. In particular, the unconscious emotions leading to behaviors. So let's take the example. You are afraid of holding a TED Talk or speaking in public. NLP can actually help you to tap into these emotions coming up, to, for example, use techniques like visualization or mental rehearsal, so you can actually reprogram this autopilot that's happening. Then we have behavioral change and habit formation. That's all about to understand how a habit or routine is actually, how it happens, where it comes from, right? So by understanding how it works, I'll give you an example. Who of you in this room knows what a chocolate addiction means? So I've been a former chocolate addict, sober now, I'm not sure how you say that, but in order to change that habit, I needed to understand why I was doing it and also my triggers. Because by knowing that, I could then introduce a new healthy habit, or I could make it really, really difficult to get chocolate. I could change my environment, so not passing that kiosk every day after lunch. And also I implemented actually a reward system to reward that new behavior. Then we have cognitive behavior therapy. That's similar to NLP, but what's the difference here? So it also focuses on your thoughts, your emotions, and your behavior, but it actually focuses on, as the name says, on the cognitive side. So basically on your beliefs, for example, like you having the belief of, I'm not good enough. So it mostly focuses on anxiety, on fears. But by using this technique, you can actually understand, okay, what is the evidence for that belief? Or what are the distortions you're not even aware of? Or maybe with that belief, I'm not good enough, maybe there's some benefits behind it. Maybe it even says something about your own values. And then you can change it, if it makes sense still, right? Then we have mindfulness and meditation, and I assume most of you in this room practice that already. It's basically all about getting present in the very moment, to be aware of your thoughts, to control them. Because if you can control one thing in your life, and that's the only thing, these are your thoughts. And then the last one, binaural beats. And mostly you haven't heard about that, but you all know what music can do with you, like how it can pull you up or pull you down. And music is a frequency, so are binaural beats. But before I'm going to go into that, I want to talk about brainwaves, because then you can understand how your brain is actually shifting in the different frequencies. So right now, you're probably in beta. That means you're awake, you're listening, you use your problem-solving skills. Okay, what is she talking? Like, what is the new thing? How does it work? Maybe already it's late. Maybe you're in the relaxation state, so that's more like alpha. Or you're already dreaming, your thoughts are somewhere, that is theta. If you have not fallen asleep by now, so this is delta. And then we have gamma. And gamma waves are the ones where you are the most focused, like peak performance, the highest cognitive functions. And this is where mostly binaural beats can take you if you want to. So let's see how that works. So binaural beats typically work like that. You put in your earphones, and then you listen to two different frequencies, where one frequency is slightly offset. So one goes like boom, 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 and the other one, boom, 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 boom. And what happens then is that your brain is actually creating a third frequency, and that's the difference between the two, and that's the binaural beat. So science, or the theory behind, says it's called the frequency following response. So basically what happens when you listen to binaural beats is that your brain gets encouraged to synchronize with that beat. Basically, it gets entrained to change its activity according to this frequency it listens to, right? And then it releases a lot of neurochemicals like endorphins, like your blood flow is increasing, and your cognitive functions are activated because your prefrontal cortex is actually on. So, a lot of studies have then proven that binaural beats can actually help with reducing anxiety and stress, increasing mood, but also to concentrate and focus better, and also with creativity. So one study I found, which was quite interesting, was they took a group of people, they split it in half, and this group of people was set up for an operation. So what they did with half of the group, they were listening to binaural beats just before the operation. And the other one was listening to white noise. And that's basically all the frequencies at once, like similar to what you can hear when there's a fan on. And the group listening to binaural beats showed in the end significantly decreased in anxiety and an increase in mood. And similar studies have been running on focus and concentration as well as creativity. To keep your expectations now low, it's not like you're going to listen to binaural beats and you immediately drop your anxiety or you can concentrate immediately. No. It's like going to the gym, like you do your warm-up and then you do the heavy lifting. The binaural beats can actually help you with this transition time to get in the stage you want to be at. And the more often you do it, the more your neuroplasticity actually adjusts, the faster you can get into the stage. So how to do it? Well, according to science, you can either listen to binaural beats just before a certain task, and then you actually get into that frequency, or when you feel stressed or anxious, you listen to these binaural beats as long as you feel like, okay, now I feel much better, my nervous system is regulated. Where can you get it? Well, it's free. Spotify, YouTube, you can just type it in. I normally use it to prepare my TED Talks, and other than that, I use it for my clients to relax. So today, I want to encourage you that the next time when you feel stressed or anxious, or if you just want to concentrate, try binaural beats. They're available everywhere, just for a couple of minutes. Because today, we don't have to trick our minds anymore to adapt to change. We don't have to do surface remedies, but we have all the tools to actually get into the autopilot to change it at its core. So an idea worth spreading is not just to go to the gym for our bodies, but also to go to the gym for our minds. Thank you.